The message was at night about Joseph and the change of garment. That Joseph had to take off, Joseph didn't take off the garments himself, so God had to send people to strip off the garments of self-pride, of the world, and what was the last one?
Prison.
The prison garment, sorry. So I thought, wow, that was a very good preaching, but I didn't realize that that was just the beginning of God beginning to teach me about something. So the few nights before that, I really was asked by the Lord to wake up to pray, even though sometimes I was so tired. I said, no, Lord, I really want to sleep. He says, if you're doing this women's ministry, you have to wake up to pray for the women. So I was waking up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. But that morning after the preaching, I woke up at 5:30 a.m. and I just sat down at my dressing table there, the dressing chair, and I was just expecting a normal communion time with the Lord. Then suddenly the Lord just showed a wave of sentences. It came in sentences, and it was how He saw things I think, or words I say, or even little actions and everything. And I was shocked because it sounded like such a horrible person, and it came as waves of sentences. And then I was stunned at first. I began to cry, and a grief filled me. I can't share too much, but I'll share as much as I can. For example, if I told my son, I scolded him and said, I'm so embarrassed with you, Auntie so-and-so came already and you're still late, always waiting for you. After they think that, your parents don't know how to teach you and all that. But God showed me that He saw that as like, I'm saying, I'm so embarrassed with you. You're such an embarrassment to me. It's all about my pride. How would people see me then? How would people think? I want people to think I'm so good. And now our friend is thinking that I'm the terrible mom. How's it look on me? I don't really care about you. And I was quite stunned. And like yesterday I shared also, for example, like when you've helped someone in ministry and they've been healed and delivered, but then they take many steps back, and I get impatient with them. And God showed me that how He sees it is as if I'm saying, you're such an embarrassment to God. You're such an embarrassment to my ministry. I don't really care about what you think, how you are growing, but I used to share good things about how you've grown under my ministry, but now look at you, you're such a mess. Then I told the Lord, I never said that. But then the Lord convicted me. That's how He sees it. That's how He sees it, and deep in my heart, that's how I really felt. And I was really convicted. And just various things, like maybe I'm embarrassed about a family member, you're always late, what would people think? But God saw that as like, I'm just concerned about my own pride. It's all about me. I don't really care about you. Just very little things about everything, everyone, And I was just so convicted, and it came as waves and waves until I was just sitting there and crying. Then suddenly it's like the Lord showed His holiness, and I just crawled up onto my feet just jumped onto the chair, and I just covered my face like that. It's like, I can't take it, Lord, I can't see you, I can't look at you. And the Lord just showed me another wave and another wave. And I've heard Pastor Tuk preach before about the wickedness and depravity of your heart. When God really showed her all that in her heart, that was when she really realized why she needed a Savior. When I heard that, I thought, wow, yeah, that's true. But when I really experienced it, I really realized, like sometimes when we tell other people, like Pastor Tuk said just now, to new believers, or we say, you should be going to church. Why are you late to church? You should be going for this, you should be doing this and doing that. But God convicts me and shows me that, weren't you there at some point in your life? Wasn't there some point in your life where you also didn't really want to do all that and really want to go to church? Wasn't there one point in your life where you were like that too? And I really realized that we stand here by grace and mercy alone. really by grace and mercy. We're really filthy rags, and how can we come before a holy God like that? And so I was like, crashed down, and I said, Lord, no, I can't take you, I can't take it anymore. But the waves just kept coming until at one point, I just felt the Lord say, you know why I'm doing this, right, Joe? Because I love you. And I said, I know, Lord, but I can't take it. But then at one point, I just steadied myself. It's like I put my hand on the chair, and instead of like covering anymore, I just, bowed my head, and the Lord showed another wave, of, words, of not even words. There's just that thought, that action, just that, eye looking at someone, judging them, anything, any little thing. God was just showing that it's so sickening to Him, and He knows everything in our heart. And I was also sharing how, I thought God would have shown me this 5 years ago or something, where there's so much more sins to deal with. Now I thought, I've already gotten many things, right. I still have a long way to go, but I've gotten my tongue, in order, in a way. I've, used James 4:7. I'm growing in the Word. I teach Bible studies sometimes and counsel, all that. But for God, it's like, because He loves me, He needs to show me all these little things count to Him. It's not because He wants to judge us. And I felt that this is only a glimpse of Judgment Day. This is just a glimpse, and if I don't deal with all this, if I don't get it right, this is what it's going to be like. Everything will be just poured out. And at one point, when the Lord showed this wave, I've just held my hands there, and it's like it comes, like it's a storm. But this time I just steadied myself, and I just bowed my head, and then I just nodded, and I repented, and I knew everything was really what was in my heart. And then at one point towards the end, the Lord just opened. I just saw a vision of Jesus with His arms open, and He just wanted me to lie on His bosom. He just opened up and just waited. And I said, for the first time, I couldn't look up. I said, I can't, Lord. I can't go near you. I just can't. But He was just waiting and waiting. It took a long time, but I just dragged myself, to lie on His bosom again. But it's like I couldn't look up. And for a few days after that, it's like this new sense of the fear of the Lord. I just couldn't really look up for a while. I was sharing also how the next day in my church, all the songs, the worship songs, were on 3 words only: holy, holy, holy. And I couldn't take it. I was just in tears. I was just crying. I bowed down on my knees, and I was just crying because I got a glimpse of God's holiness, and I couldn't take it. Then that week also in Bible study, we were learning about Leviticus. It's all about God's holiness, and God's just teaching me so much, Did I leave out anything? Anything else? One thing the Lord was teaching me through that was for my own self. When I think that I'm quite okay, I've dealt with humility and everything, I'm quite mature, that's when God shows me all the self-pride, and I thought I would take it off myself, so that not like Joseph, where God has to send other people to strip it off him. So I would take it off myself, Lord, every little bit. And ever since that encounter, it's like many things have changed. The way I see people, the way I talk to my family. I apologized to my family the next day. I shared with them briefly about this encounter. I said, I'm really sorry, if I have said that you're an embarrassment to me. God shows me that is self-pride, and my husband so beautifully got each of the kids to come out, to hug me and say, it's okay, Mom, And even people, like people I counsel, when they come up, sometimes you say, her again, or the same old problem. Why can't you just get out of it, Or you judge them and say, because she didn't go for this talk, she didn't go and listen to this thing, that's why I know this is happening to her. Or I'm watching a sermon and I say, this is not right, this is wrong, no, this is okay, this is wrong, and like judging little things, it's so sickening to the Lord. So even the way I drive has changed, the way I speak to my maid, the way I see people and speak to people. I'm still on the journey, I'm still walking, and learning, but just after, when you really have experienced just a fraction of that fear of God, things change. He's so real, and I really am learning and trying, to get it right with Him.
He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit has to say. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit has to say. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit has to say.